everyone. Welcome to our NMTV talk show. I am Dr. Nana. With me, Dr. Chris.
Thank you, Dr. Nana. Today.
Thank you so much. This is our first show of the year 2023. We have been busy doing so many other things. And like you know, Dr. Chris, we started with Peter Obi and talking about Nigeria Decides 2023.
Right.
And it's important. One thing I know for sure for every Nigerian out there, that we want a nation. We want a place, a country where we can call our own.
Right.
All right. So it's important that we have a country. And one of the reasons why it's important for us to have a nation is not because we don't have one right now. There is no security. The number one, the number two, and even number 1 million is security. So therefore, we want a brand new nation where the leader will work for the people. We want a leader that is government of the people,
by the people.
By the people. So we want a visionary leader. So in that, at the beginning, we talked about Peter Obi and what he has to bring to the table. And we Nigerians are easily carried away, in my view. And some leaders are easily carried away by posing themselves as the messiah of the country. But over the months, we have watched Peter Obi carefully, and we start to see the transition of actually him putting himself as a leader who may listen to the voice of Nigeria. So I want you to bring in your take in so we can make an argument for him and see if he can take us to the next stage in our country.
Insightful, Dr. Nana. Actually, interestingly, I've gone out for many months now that we have not been on a live show to debate other people concerning the candidates that we have out there in Nigeria. And over the course of my debating them, actually taking the position of anti-Obi sometimes, just to find out how deep the trust level should be for the candidate Obi. And I'm here happy to report that after many attempts and scrutinizing deep delve into discussions with Nigerians who are mostly based in Nigeria, I am happy to report that, we may have a very good candidate that is trustworthy in Peter Obi to handle Nigeria many and numerous problems at this time. I say that sincerely because I know that also all the problem Nigeria goes around an issue, and that's insecurity of lives and properties. There is no development in a nation or a system that cannot guarantee the safety of lives and properties. And so when I took my positions with my friends, including some of the system of Nigeria is probably ready for a change and a transformational leader in someone like Peter Obi. And I can tell you that much. Thank you for leading in that question.
I think that's a very good thought out there. Over the course of researching and asking questions, I actually had the opportunity to watch Bola Tinubu and his interview with the Chatham House, and I started to have a different thought about, how most of the things I was hearing about being sick and not able to do a whole lot of stuff. But when I watched him on that interview, I had a rethink, and I actually thought that he is not that bad. It's just that the time we are right now may not be right for him.
Sorry,
in my view.
I will want to jump in here. Actually, there's been a hyperbole on the both sides.
Mm-hmm.
People have thrown out videos that were doctored of the man being terribly sick and unable to handle himself,
right?
Variously. Some of the videos are not really true.
Mm-hmm.
They were fake. But in all, I will say this sincerely, Bola Tinubu has some achievements
Right.
to him,
Right.
and he's done well for himself,
Right.
and he's produced and mentored a lot of people, leaders after him. And so my friends, they argue that his products were predominantly those that kneecapped Nigeria and brought Nigeria to the situation it is today. To an extent, there's an argument there, but the counter will be that why did others now raise and mentor people who would have been the counter to the people like Tinubu produced
Right.
that kneecapped Nigeria?
Right.
And so there were no reasonable answers to that. But what I see in all is that Tinubu is a great man. He's achieved a lot. I will give him that.
Right.
But at this time, with the challenges that Nigeria has, and especially given the fact that is the too much challenge for a person of that age to
Right.
handle the issues that confront Nigeria. The issues in Nigeria need people that are quite younger. It's not to say that this
About
is
age.
age discrimination. no.
Right.
It does not matter. After all, Mr. Biden of the United States.
I was coming
is
to
old.
that. I was coming to
Yeah.
that. Let me jump in here. I was actually coming to that because most people argue that President Biden here in the US is also old. But I always put myself in a position of saying, okay, we are not the same country, okay? President Biden is old, but he has experts around him. The right people will be at the right spot to do the right thing at the right time. But can we actually venture that with a person of Bola Tinubu who have so much achievement that he's had before, now that he is of the age that he is, right? I can take his diction that he said in Chatham. He has so much vision in Nigeria, just like what he did in Lagos. But he's not going to be able to go around doing all these things. Are we sure that the way President Biden has those experts around him, we are not really sure that Nigeria will be able to put the right people at the right position? So that's where we have caveat, and that's why we kept falling back and forth, and now we are back to Peter Obi. So I want you to make that argument.
As a leadership expert, I will say this much, that there are different types of leadership, and those leadership are tailored to address systems, and the systems are made to suit some kind of leaderships. And those systems,
Right.
at this time, and with the numerous issues in this 21st century, I do not believe that someone of Tinubu's health and age will be able to stand the rigors of leadership. We need someone that has the vigor, that has the energy, that will be strong enough to confront the system of Biden. I mean, if you do a comparison between America and Nigeria, it's two different worlds.
It's two different.
It's like
just
you
so
are
much.
comparing the lowest with the highest.
With the highest.
Because in America, you can bring anybody in, and that's why the last administration in America, despite the fact that the man was a novice, they didn't know what he was doing, he was just fumbling around. The system is already made,
Arranged. Yeah.
it's arranged, can take care of itself.
Right.
But in Nigeria, it's not the same. We need a transformation. And so we need a transformational leader. And the transformation leader should come with some energy, with some rigor to his activity. So we cannot compare that. So in that, for that particular grading, I will say Tinubu is out.
Is that
For
for
me.
that? For
For
that,
me.
for you?
For
Okay.
that same
that
reason.
same
But in
reason.
terms of his brain, his experience, I will not push him away.
At all.
And what I would suggest at this point is that if Tinubu really wants to make Nigeria better and wants to be a father of Nigeria, just like Baba Awolowo was, and the other leaders of old, Zik and Tafawa Balewa and the rest, he has to now take a step back and mentor someone in someone like Peter Obi. You can. I think Peter Obi will leave him out. He's going to seek his advice if he has any agenda. Like I heard, and I will say this: my friend in one of my discussions and debate with told me that when Papa Awolowo, I forgot that entirely.
Right.
When he lost the 1983 election, he knew he was too old. He knew he would not have more the time and energy to contest another election. What he did, he pulled the call to Shehu Shagari, who was the president, who won
at the time,
and told him that this time I gave him his programs and his vision and his plans for Nigeria. Say, please find a place to execute and consider this and execute them for the betterment of the nation. Even though that program and the agenda were thrown away, but this is what leaders do, fathers of a nation. So Tinubu can actually step into that shoe by allowing Peter Obi at this time and support him with his ideas.
So another problem that I hear people talk about is about tribalism, the way it's reign over the minds of Nigerians. And they also gave it to Tinubu that during his time he had ministers, or he has commissioners, I would say, that are of different tribe, maybe from the east. So people are thinking, is Peter Obi going to do the same thing? Is he going to be? I tell them this time for Peter Obi, if he emerged the winner, which everyone is clamoring for, which including me, because he's a younger version of the leader we want to see in Nigeria, because we want a brand new nation in Nigeria. So I make the case to them that as a president, there will not be reason why there will be it's one nation, one Nigeria that we have. So he can actually choose people that are of right state of mind and of that education and experience to put in position regardless of where they are from. So can you make the case?
Absolutely. And I would say this: systems are tailored according to the people that make up the system. And so I would say this, like we said before, Tinubu met a system. Obi operated a different system. If you compare Anambra and Lagos, it is only a given that Tinubu would have allowed that kind of situation, that an Igbo man was able to become a commissioner in Lagos. Why? Because, let me make the case, Calabar was the capital of Nigeria at some point. People forget that. Then capital moved to Lagos. It's only natural that you have a conglomerate of people gathered from different tribes and nation and nationality, and amongst them, this is the citizenry of Lagos. People actually say Tinubu is not from Lagos, but what does it matter? Lagos is a confluence of people. It's a collection of people. So exactly. It's only a given that someone that is not a Yoruba will become a commissioner or will handle executive position in Lagos. Unlike Anambra, where you have traditional people, it will take time. You understand what I'm saying? So Tinubu met a system, he improved on it, and he reflected that system in his cabinet. That's natural. Obi met a system and
where
reflected
he was the governor.
He reflected the system as it was constituted then. That does not mean now that Obi will come to governance of the entire nation and become myopic and say, oh, it's only the people of his tribe that is going to choose. There's no reason to say that for now.
Okay. I think, thank you so much for that analysis that you gave. So we just watched his Peter Obi's Chatham House interview. So we're going to play a little bit of a clip and then we'll talk about that. And I will speak to the youth of Nigeria and see how it goes. So let's listen.
Ended 3 years ago. It's about the place of space. I condemn all agitators, but in condemning them, you have to look at front about these agitations all over the place. It's not only IPOB. We have Yoruba Nation movement. We have all sorts. When you have created this level of massive poverty, where 63% of your population is poor, you're going to create all sorts of problems. I was speaking to a British minister this morning. I said we have about 40% unemployment. And we have about 60% youth unemployment. Young people in their productive age doing nothing. 15% unemployment in Britain today. You're going to have massive, remember, agitation. Nobody will be able to leave his house. So what you're seeing is a cumulative effect of leadership failure years, which will be so good governance. When people start seeing justice, fairness, and inclusive government and doing the right thing, all those things will start reversing itself.
Just look at the statistics they put out there.
Right.
40% unemployment, even higher for the youths who are the future of the nation, 60%. And he made the right supposition.
Right.
In America, if the employment rate will go beyond 10%, it's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a big problem.
In in Britain, that he said, if it's over 15%, it's going to be a problem.
That's right.
People will agitate.
That's right.
So we are not going to kill the agitators. We should address the cause of the agitation. It's just like the Yorubas say, somebody lives lakpa, somebody lives leprosy and is fighting lakpa. So the problem is what the issue is: hopelessness, insecurity, and poverty, basically. So if we can address that, and the way to address it, it starts with good governance. The good governance will enhance
and
empower people.
Right.
But above all, a good governance will produce security. Everything is situated on security. There's no way you can give good government
when there's no electricity.
There's no electricity. And he also actually talked about electricity in that discussion. He said he was going to address it and declare war on electricity.
And that would be
when the government declares war on anything, the government
wins.
You understand? So, and he said it, if South Africa can declare emergency on electricity and they have so much stable electricity
today, there, even in Ghana.
So everybody declare emergency for lack of electricity. But Nigeria, we barely have light, and nobody's talking about it. So he said he's going to declare war on it. If a federal government would declare war on electricity production,
then the security of the nation will be a target.
And then, the security of the nation will improve. With electricity, 50% of the security problem will be solved. Because nobody wants to be caught on camera committing crime.
And
there's camera
your face on YouTube the next day.
You operate and charge your drones to carry cameras and find out.
Over the years, we have actually talked so much about drones and how important it is. If the Nollywood people can be using drones, how can the government not able to afford drones? So Peter Obi, if he comes in, we are believing that he will be the main leader that will be able to bring us out of this very clay that Nigerians have been, where there's electricity, all these ritual killings, kidnappings, and all these nefarious businesses will stop, right? And this hopelessness will stop. It's actually the reverse is opposite here, because youths don't lack jobs in the US. As a youth, if you go out the next day, you get a job. But that's not how it is in Nigeria. So I think we're making the case that Nigeria should give Peter Obi,
amongst the three candidates so far,
give him
Peter Obi stands out.
Right. Let's give him the chance.
He should be the right
and let's give him the opportunity. And in diaspora, once Peter Obi come in, there has to be an initiative to make sure that we are able to vote.
Yes.
We have to vote.
That's
that
one
is
presentation they have to make to
they have
Peter
to make.
Obi.
We have to make to Peter
Yes.
Obi that there has to be something that will happen. Because as an American citizen, wherever you are all over the world, you vote. So we have to be able to do that. So, but the system is not secure because there's no security and there's no electricity. And data are not even there are no data that will represent how many So with electricity, I think all of that
we'll get there. Because even Nigerians in diaspora who
Right.
have the skills and expertise to do all of this, they can't go home.
They can't go
But
home.
with electricity, stable electricity and improvement in security, people will go back home and our system.
We want
will
to come home. We want to be able to visit. So, but we don't want to be kidnapped. But don't have the money. So, with a leader like Peter Obi, we are making our closing argument. Now, who said that he's going to declare war, right, on electricity? We think that is something good enough, and that's actually prompted us. It's melody to our ears and prompted that we have to do this program today, and we are happy to hear that.
He's the right man.
And he's the right man for this moment. And we thank Bola Tinubu for all that he's done. And we are now saying that if the election comes today and nothing happens in his side in favorably, he will take a step back, then give his own mandate, right? And
give
to his plan
and ideas,
which him. I think he has. He has
the
father of the nation. And that's what we are advocating for today. And I want to thank you all for watching. I think you'll see more of us before the election, and we are making the case for Peter Obi, and we're standing with him, and we are hoping that Nigerians will do the right thing and make the right call. Thank you for visiting today.
Thank you for having me.
And I will have you back again shortly. Thank you. And bye for now.